But just before it will be what looked for a time as if it would be a momentous evening. There was, you'll recall, a Labour rebellion against the plans to make Britain the country with the longest period of detention without charge on the earth. What an emblem for us, what a badge for us to wear. When the IRA was bombing the country, you couldn't hold anyone for more than 3 days without charging them. When Mrs. Thatcher was nearly killed in her bed, when the British cabinet was hiding under the cabinet table as the IRA fired mortars through the window in Downing Street, the period was 3 days. Now it's 28 days, already the worst in the world, and about to become 42 long days and nights that you can incarcerate someone, interrogate them endlessly, day and night, without even charging them, without even telling them why they are held and being interrogated, and with what they might be charged at the end of that 42 days. Well, there was a Labour rebellion, except one by one, 10 by 10, the rebels, as always, are melting away. Well, I, for one, and there might not be many of us, will on Wednesday be saying this strategy of defending our country and our people by ID cards or 42 days or more MI5, more MI6, more police paid more informants, all these flyswats are useless if you're living next to a swamp of hatred. Because no matter how many flyswats you have, you will never stop what's coming out of the toxicity of that swamp of hatred and bitterness that you have sown against you. In other words, your strategy is fatally flawed. The way our country can be made more secure is by draining the swamp of the hatred that we filled that swamp with in the first place. And the only way to do that is to reverse the policies we have been following, which have generated such hatred against us around the world. And what are those issues? Time, not least because I have to get back to London for my radio show this evening, does not allow me to develop all the reasons why this swamp is as it is. So I shall deal with only three, but they are the three most important. The three biggest reasons why Britain and the United States are in the front ranks of the most hated on the earth. And the first is Palestine. As you leave here, you'll pass the stall selling Palestinian products, olive oil and the rest. Palestine has been wiped off the face of the map. We're always hearing that the president of Iran threatened to wipe Israel off the map. As a matter of fact, he did no such thing, as every Professor Farsi from Tokyo to Tehran can tell you by a simple translation of his remarks. But even then, even if he wanted to, Iran doesn't have the means to wipe Israel off the face of the map. But Israel has the means of wiping Iran off the face of the map, and just yesterday threatened to do so, openly threatened to do so, in the mouth of General Mofaz, the defense minister in the right-wing government in Tel Aviv. But the only country which has been wiped off the map is not Iran or Israel, but Palestine. Go to your atlas and check and see where you find the name Palestine. The Palestinian people have been scattered to the four corners of the earth. Their country is stolen from them. Their houses, their land, their orchards taken from them and given to foreigners. Whilst they have lived out their lives for the last 60 years as refugees in rat-infested hovels in refugee camps around the Middle East, or the lucky ones scattered further to countries like ours. Stateless people, without passports, without papers, regularly chased from pillar to post. Now, as I always spent now almost 35 years fighting this Palestinian cause, we're not very much further forward 35 years later. Most people, notwithstanding our efforts, don't give a damn what happens in Palestine. But you have to know that every Muslim in the world cares about Palestine. Palestine is on the lips and the hearts of every Muslim in the world. And when they see us giving Israel every weapon that she needs, when we see the only sanction ever imposed on Israel is to force them to participate in the Eurovision Song Contest, they laugh at the idea of liberty and democracy in the mouths of Western leaders who have been content to see the Palestinian people suffer and die for more than half a century, and have honoured Israel instead of punishing her for breaking more United Nations Security Council resolutions than all the countries of the world put together. That's a fact. Iraq was destroyed when it didn't break a single United Nations resolution. Israel is rewarded for breaking more Security Council resolutions than all the countries of the world put together. The second is obvious. It is the Western occupation of Muslim countries. Now Somalia, Afghanistan, Iraq, the effective occupations of Saudi Arabia, of Qatar, which has the biggest American world, of the United Arab Emirates, of the Persian Gulf itself, the giant American embassies going up in every Arab capital, fortresses of espionage and subversion against America's enemies in the region. This occupation, overt, or only just scarcely covert, is one of the main driving reasons why Muslims from amongst the 1.7 billion Muslims in the world are feeling so angry and so bitter about our double standards and our injustice.